for me, Atazar.
Okay.
All right. You got it? All right.
I got it. Okay, so I got one.
Yeah, tell us where we going for Cain and Abel.
I got Genesis chapter 4 and 13.
Let's get it.
It says, and Cain said unto the Most High, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid.
Hold on, wait a minute.
And I shall.
You said 4 and 13? Nah. Go back to verse 4. Go back to verse 4. As a matter of fact, go ahead and read verse 1. Let's get it.
Genesis chapter 4 and verse 1. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Most High.
Keep going up. Whatever you can get with that. Split it up evenly. Shiratazar. Officer Shiratazar. Anybody else on the line? Salakia. Shiratazar.
Sir. I'm right here.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and read it again. My phone clocked out and did something crazy.
All right, Genesis chapter 4 and verse 1. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain. Again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Most High. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Most High had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect.
So what did Cain bring? What did Cain bring? One second. I want Shiratazar to answer. Then you just read it out. What did he bring?
He brought of the fruit of the ground.
He brought the fruit of the ground. All right. What did Abel bring?
Abel brought the firstlings of his flock.
Right. Now, can anybody tell me what scripture or what precept in the Bible where it says that you can sacrifice vegetables? Where's that precept at? Anybody got it? Or you can offer vegetables to the Lord. Not sacrifice. Anybody got it? Who is that? Keep saying la. So you mean to tell me you can't sacrifice a mushroom or a mango or something to the Lord? What did the Lord always ask for? Go ahead. Whoever said Salaki first.
The first fruits. I want the best.
That ain't what I was looking for.
Salaki, sir.
Hold, 1 second. 1 second. One of the brothers here want to take a stab at it. Go ahead, DeAndre.
He wanted the firstborn of the animal of one of the animals.
Y'all going a little bit too deep. When I asked about the vegetables, go ahead, Doc.
He wanted a blood sacrifice.
He wanted something with blood in it, right? Fruit don't got that. You offering an offering to the Lord, it ain't even got no blood in it. Give me that scripture where it says life is in the blood. Matter of fact, I'll grab that one. I'll grab. Go ahead. You got it? That's going to be Leviticus 17 and 11, right? Go ahead and give me the Genesis where it's talking about that.
Book of Genesis, chapter 9, verse 4. For flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. And surely
that's not it. Give me Leviticus. Give me Leviticus chapter 17 and verse 10. You got it? All right, you got it. Nice and strong. You might want to move a little bit closer if you're gonna read. So you ain't got to scream. Just sit there. I know you be liking to read.
Leviticus chapter 17.
Can y'all hear the brother? Can y'all hear the brother? Go ahead.
Leviticus chapter 17.
You ain't got to scream it.
Verse 10. And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel or of the strangers that sojourn among you, that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood, and will cut him off from among his people. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh the atonement for the soul.
Yeah, I got that, right? You want to offer anything to the Lord? Of course, he want 10% of everything. That's corn, that's vegetables, that's whatever. He wants 10% of everything. But if you're going to make an offering or a sacrifice, what you must do is you must bring something with blood in it. Now let's go back to Genesis. Sharatazah again. What did Cain offer?
He brought up the fruit of the ground.
The fruit of the ground. The Lord gave you that anyway, right? What did Abel bring?
Abel brought the firstlings of his flock.
Okay, so what Abel was doing what he was supposed to do. You're gonna offer something, he got a flock. This is what Officer Shawar was saying the other day, or this is what Cap was saying the other day. Salakia. He should have traded some of them fruit to get him a lamb or something with some blood in it so he could bring a proper offering to the Lord, but he didn't want to do that, right? So keep going.
But unto Cain and to his offering, he had not respect.
The Lord had respect. The Lord had respect for what Abel did because Abel did what the Lord said. The Lord did not have respect for what Cain did because Cain just made up his own thing to do. Don't that sound familiar? Don't you see people that say, well, if I go to church every Sunday, if I go to Bible study on Wednesday, if I roll around on the floor and speak in tongues, if I got a good praise team, if I got to do all this, all of these things they got down pat, they could do that. They could wear the flyest suit, the biggest hat, all of that. But when it comes to doing what the Lord say to do is keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, they're not doing that. You can do all of this stuff you want to do, but when it come down, the simplest thing you need to be doing is to serve the Lord, is what he say do. Not what you want to make up, not how you feel about it, but what he say do. Keep going now.
Oh God. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell.
Fallen.
And the Most High said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen?
Keep going.
If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted?
What does that mean? If you do what I told you to do, you act like I wouldn't have accepted that. Right? That's a question he's asking her. If you'd have did what I told you to do, wouldn't I have accepted what you brought to me? Go ahead.
And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him.
Say what?
And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him.
And unto thee, I don't know how to break that down, Sharatazai. Any of the officers understand that? What does that mean? If thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. Who is the thee? Go ahead.
He's talking about sin.
Huh?
He's talking about sin.
The thee is sin?
So like this, sir.
No. La'ah. Go ahead.
Shalai, sir. Unto thee shall be his desire. Unto the Most High, shall hit where his desire should be.
La'ah. Somebody else want to take a stab at it? Who is the thee?
So like this, sir.
Go ahead.
If I made it, thee is dealing with us. If we don't do the will of
In
the
this
Most High.
context right here, in this scripture, who is the thee? Go ahead.
The D is Cain.
The D is Cain. Now, if thou, which is Cain, doest not well, then that means you sinning, and it's at the door waiting on you. And unto you, Cain, shall be his desire. Who is the his? Whoever said it first.
Yeah. I mean, this is
The his and the he is sin. Absolutely. So, also Sharatazai, read that where thee being Cain and he and his is sin. Read that again, verse 7.
God. And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him.
Let me read it again how I wanted you to read it. And if thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if Cain does not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto Cain shall be sin's desire. And thou shalt rule over him. Or Sid shall rule over Cain. In other words, if you want to bring me anything, then you going to sin. Sin is waiting for you. If you don't want to do what the Lord said, you already in the wrong. And sin is just waiting to rule over you. But you're supposed to rule over sin. Everybody get that, right? Verse 9. Go ahead. Somebody said, go ahead.
Yes, I was still in shock. I just want to make sure I'm good on this. Verse 7, it says, if thou doest well, which he's talking to Cain, says, shalt thou not be accepted? And he said, if you do well, you'll be accepted. And then it says, if thou doest not well, sin layeth at the door, don't do well, you're sinning.
No,
Then it says,
no. He said not necessarily. He's saying if you're not doing good or well, then sin is waiting for you. The moment you decide not to do what the Lord said to do or not to do good, then you're going to sin. That's basically what he's saying.
okay, sin lives at the door. So if you don't do what you're supposed to do, then sin is waiting for you to trip up or whatever. And then it says, and thou shalt, and unto thee shall be his desire. So, like when it says, unto thee shall be his desire, that means like Cain, that's his own desire, right?
No. Unto you is going to be your desire to sin.
Right, but he's talking about Cain. So,
but his is sin. The his is sin right there. Unto you shall be sin's desire, or your desire to sin.
okay, so when it says, unto thee shall be his desire.
The desire to sin. If you ain't gonna do good, sin is waiting for you at the door. And what's gonna happen to you is you're going to have the desire to sin.
Right, so that's good. Yeah, so that's what I was trying to say. Like Cain is that's your own desire. Like your desire is to sin. So
your desire ain't to not sin, because if so, then you would do what the Lord said to do.
Right. Concept.
Now, the only part I thought that you was gonna go to that might trip you up, the last part, thou is sin, and him is Cain. It's switched up. And sin shall rule over him, which is Cain.
Right.
All right.
And thou, which is Cain.
Yeah, it switched up that last part. The thou was Cain.
And thou sin. Right. Your own sin shall rule over you.
Right, exactly.
Like he's talking to Cain, he's saying your own sin shall rule over you.
Right.
Concept.
I'm gonna double check to make sure that's correct, but that's what I got out of it. So let me make sure. I will make sure on this. We'll probably ask this on Sunday class. Give me verse 8 though.
Got on concept. Verse 8. And Cain talked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him.
And did what?
And slew him.
And killed him. Go ahead.
Got him gone. And the Most High said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
Y'all heard this plenty of times. It's not a good thing. Cain was basically trying to get smart with it. Well, I don't know. The nigga in my pocket? That's how he talking to the Lord. Where's such and such at? In his skin? That's what he's saying. I don't know where that nigga is. He ain't in my pocket. Am I supposed to keep up with him all the time, hold his hand? That's what he's telling the Lord. Keep going now.
And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood in thy hands.
All right, so let's wrap up this story, right? And so whoever got the for that violence against our brother. First of all, Cain killed Abel. What was the reason he killed him? Go ahead.
Jealousy.
Yeah, he was jealous because the Lord was with him and he wasn't with him because the Lord accepted his offering and didn't accept his. Cain killed his brother because he was jealous because the Lord was with his brother. Everybody got that, right? And because he killed his brother for being jealous, the Lord cursed Cain. You got that, Sharatazar, right?
Got him, sir.
All right, get me for that violence, whoever got it.
Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 10.
Let me see if I want to start there. All right. Obadiah, let's get it. Let me see. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir. Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
Why, Officer Sharatazar, why did Esau want to kill Jacob? I'm talking about the people.
Because he was jealous about the birthright.
He was jealous because the Lord was with him and he ended up with the birthright. Remember, the elders shall serve the younger. Lord said this before they was even born. Right? So out his jealousy for his brother, he tried to kill Jacob. Now, you start with the one person and then you bring it down. Now we talking about a nation of people that came from Esau, and a nation of people. Y'all ever grew up and y'all wonder why white people hate y'all so much? What did we do to them besides serve in their military and work in their stores? What did we ever do to them besides clean their toilets and slave and work on their cotton fields and all of that? It's jealousy because the Lord is with you. Now, go ahead.
I have a question about the topic.
You said off topic? You said off topic? On topic? Go ahead.
I don't know if I asked it before, but I just want to be sure. Is Abel's, is Jacob supposed to be Abel reincarnated?
I ain't know, that's not in the Bible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not in the Bible. What we doing is the brother asked a question because you'll hear it said that Esau, right, had the spirit of Cain. And that same spirit is in the white man today. So the brother wanted to know scriptures and how the connection was made. So we went back to Cain and Abel and realized Cain killed Abel because the Lord was with him and he was jealous. So now we're going to the men, Esau and Jacob. And Esau tried to kill Jacob because the Lord was with him and he gave him the birthright and he was jealous. Right? So give me the last one. In Revelations I call for. I believe it's also Itazal.
Okay. That's lucky though. Did you want Revelation 20 or Revelation 12?
Give me 12 first. Let me see if that's the one. I believe that's the one. It says the devil. It says the devil in it, right? Yeah, go ahead and give me that one.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and angels were cast out with him.
So at the end of the story, now we're running across a certain people or whatever the case may be. And it said, read it again.
Come. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world.
That same person, the same serpent that was in the garden is the same spirit that came over Cain, is the same spirit that came over Esau, which is the same spirit that's in Esau's people right now, operating as the devil in the earth. All right? It wasn't no white people with Cain and Abel. So you can't say that it was the white man. Cain was the white man, but that spirit lies in the white man to this day. And it was there since Esau and Jacob, since before they was born, when they was in the womb.
Yes, sir.
1 second now. Give me the other precept from Revelation. Let me see if that was a better one.
Revelation chapter 20, verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, bound him 1,000 years.
Yeah, the first one was the one I was looking for. All right, that one was just talking about when Christ go to putting everything and restoring everything back in order. Go ahead, Rakam.
So, like, if I may, sir, I'm just going to say Genesis 27:41 sounds like a precept for what you were saying.
About what? What I was saying about what?
Kind of. So, Genesis chapter 27.
No, what I was saying about what?
Esau hitting Jacob over the blessing.
Yeah, I already knew that. I don't need that precept.
Kind of, sir.
All right, Sharat Tazah, do you got it?
Sir.
All right, Most High in Christ. Anybody else got any questions?
Sir.
Go ahead.
If I may, I just needed to break down Ecclesiasticus 16:3.
Ecclesiasticus.
Kind of, sir.
16:3.
Kind of, sir.
Yama, go ahead and read it for me. You need a breakdown. What don't you understand? I'm gonna let you read it, Rakam. What don't you understand about it?
I just didn't want to leave on my own understanding, sir.
Okay, what part specifically don't you understand? You don't understand none of it?
Shalaki, sir. As a new man, as Trooper Rakam, I don't. The old me thought I understood.
What you thought it was saying?
I thought it was saying it's better not to have kids. Don't trust none of these whores. But as a new man, nonetheless, I realized that the Most High created woman for a purpose. And it's
so that's what you're confused about, whether you should or should not have kids.
Just how to approach it, nonetheless, but be a man and stay diligent in this truth. I don't want.
All right, go ahead and read it. Tell everybody where you at.
Ecclesiasticus, chapter 16.
Ecclesiasticus,
chapter 16, verse 3. Trust not thou in their life, neither respect.
Go back up to verse 1.
Sir. Ecclesiasticus, chapter 16, verse 1. Desire not a multitude of unprofitable children.
Of what kind of children?
Unprofitable children.
Desire not, meaning don't look to just have children that ain't going to produce nothing for the world. Now, where do unprofitable children come from?
Like it, sir?
Yeah, I'm asking you, Rico.
Unprofitable relationships.
Unprofitable parents.
Kind of, sir.
Read it.
Neither delight in ungodly sons,
Mm-hmm.
though they multiply. Rejoice not in them, except the fear of the Most High be with them.
Except what?
The fear of the Most High be with them.
All right, this is telling you the difference between you loving your son because he's so gangster and you loving your son because he's a man of the Lord. You loving your daughter because she can trick off and make $5,000 in a night, or you loving your daughter because she's a daughter of Zion and she serves her husband and she serves the Most High. Unprofitable children, meaning they don't mean this nation no good. They don't want to do nothing about the Lord. All they care about is themselves. And we as a nation cannot use them, and the Lord can't use them. Right? Go to verse 3.
Verse 3. Trust not thou in their life, neither respect their multitude.
It don't matter how many of them you got. It ain't gonna do you no good. Just imagine you got 8 kids, you get old, and now somebody got to change your diaper and look after you, and they throw you in a nursing home. None of them ain't gonna take care of you.
Sir.
What good is that? Go ahead.
For one that is just is better than 1,000.
There it is. Y'all can use that when it comes to ribs. Brothers want to have all these damn wives. Well, one that is just is better than 1,000. Don't matter how many you got. You ain't got one good one.
That's right.
Well, this is what it's saying about children. Keep going now.
And better it is to die without children than to have them that are ungodly.
Now, better is it to die without children than to have children that are ungodly. This is saying right now, and I was just giving using it as a metaphor for women. Better is it to have none than to have them that are ungodly. This is what the Lord is saying about kids. They're going to embarrass you. They're going to bring down your legacy. They're going to prove that you are not a man of the Lord that's worthy of being over the Lord's people, because you can't even control your household. You got it? That's what this is saying. Read verse 4.
For by one that hath understanding shall the city be replenished.
You got that. We were just talking about that on the way over here. It don't matter whether it's one brother that's in the truth. What was that? The Book of Eli? That was the movie they had where the dude was supposed to have been the only nigga with the truth, or something like that.
Concept.
That's what that movie was about, right? I think I
concept.
fell asleep on it, but I think that's what they was trying to get at. He was the only nigga left with the truth. Go ahead.
But the kindred of the wicked shall speedily become desolate.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not gonna benefit you nothing to have 100 kids, 1,000 kids, 100 wives, none of that, if you don't have one that has understanding. What's understanding, Racom?
Knowledge of the Most High and His law, statutes, and commandments.
The law, statutes, and commandments, which is our knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in the sight of the nation. You get it?
Sir. The wow.
All right, no sweat.
Shalaki. If I may ask a question, I don't want.
Go ahead.
So, what is the most high?
One second. I got a question in the room. I know y'all can't really hear the brother. You speak up so they can hear you. What you was asking?
No sweat. The Most High gave us a commandment to be fruitful and to multiply. So in this here Ecclesiastic, in this here verse, is it safe to say that when he's saying that it's better not to have no children, is it safe that the Most High is giving us a challenge? Is he making do he know that this is going to be a hard task for us already? That he once gave us a commandment to be fruitful and to multiply, so that we can build our nation. We can have more sons in our nation, more daughters in our nation. But then when they say it's better not to have children, is that safe to say that that's only for certain men of the Lord that you know that wouldn't have time to be a husband or a father, you know?
Okay, if you're looking at it, it's like when it's Ecclesiasticus, the brother is just breaking down and giving wisdom. All right, so what he's saying is one of these situations is better than the other. It's better to not have kids at all than have a bunch of unruly, unrighteous children. It's not saying don't have them. It's saying that this is better than that.
Sir, but how will we know that
How your children gonna be?
That we will have a rebellious child?
How do you know that?
Yes, sir.
First thing you got to know yourself. Give me Isaiah 53 and 6.
Go
Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 53, verse 6. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way. And the Most High have laid on him the iniquity of us all.
First thing you got to understand is ain't none of us really did what the Lord said to do. We all was rebellious children, and all of us deserve to die. That's the first part. If you can get that. Now give me Proverbs 22 and 6. This is how you make sure. This is how you make sure that you don't fall victim to what the brother was saying and having a bunch of unruly, ungodly kids with no understanding. Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
That's it. All you can do is your job as a parent. That child going to end up becoming a grown man or a grown woman at some point in life, and that child is going to have to be responsible for itself. But if you just like it says, one of y'all officers give me, I have sent thee as a watchman. I have made thee a watchman over Israel. If you're doing what you're supposed to do as a watchman over that child, as somebody who's responsible, who the Lord gave you a responsibility of raising that child up and teaching them the law, statutes, and commandments, and just like it's saying in the scriptures, make sure that they know about this Passover and these laws, statutes, and commandments forever. Teach them unto your kids. Write them in your heart. All of this other stuff. Your job is to do that. Whether that child becomes a rebellious child or not, they're going to know in the back of their mind, you know what, my daddy taught me this was wrong. My mama taught me it's better than this. And if they do go against it, you've done your job as the person who's supposed to raise them up. You got the precept? Somebody got the precept? Y'all a little slow today. Go ahead.
I was going to say Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7. That was when we was like before we got into like when it says Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7. The fear of the Most High is the beginning of knowledge.
Yeah,
that fools despise.
Yeah, but that, I mean, all right, that's a good, that's a, I don't, how you gonna tie this into what we saying?
I mean, sir, I was gonna say that like earlier when you were saying when you was first, getting into.
Somebody got Ezekiel 33 and 7 or Ezekiel 3:17. Which one you got?
I got Ezekiel 33 and 7.
All right. Nah. Give me 3 and 17. Give me Ezekiel 3 and 17. Yamayan. 1 second. I'm gonna let Trooper Yamayan read it.
Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me.
The Lord gonna put you as a watchman over Israel, over his people, right? This is no different then the relationship, we always talk about it. Like spiritually, Commanding General Yohana becomes our father, right? He might care about me more than my blood daddy do. Why? Because he has the answer to the Lord concerning the children of Israel. Just like that child or that father or that mother has the answer for that child concerning whether or not they grow up and become what they're supposed to be. Keep going.
Come. Verse 18. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity.
All right, so now, DeAndre, I'm putting this on your question, right? How we know if our kid's gonna be? We don't. Just like the Lord give men of the Lord the responsibility to go out and tell the Lord's people that if you don't stop doing what you're doing, you're gonna die. It's like you telling your son, don't run out there in that road in front of no cars, or you're gonna die. Now, if the Lord tell you to tell your child that it's wrong to celebrate Christmas, it's wrong to eat pork, it's wrong to sleep with whores, it's wrong to be a whore, it's wrong to do all of this, and you don't tell them nothing, then you're gonna allow your child to die, right? Keep reading.
Come. But his blood will I require at thine hand.
And that child dying is your fault. Keep going.
Come. Yet, if thou warn the wicked,
but if you're gonna tell your children, you're gonna train them up like we just was talking about, and you warn them that if you're gonna celebrate Halloween and Christmas and all of these things, knowing they have nothing to do with the Lord, you are in danger of judgment, and the Lord gonna deal with you, and you tell them that. Now what? Keep reading.
Come. And he turned not from his wickedness.
And he continued to do wicked. Go ahead.
Nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity.
You see that? You done told that child what to do. But he didn't do it anyway. So you don't know you just got to do your job. And that's to train them up. You got it?
Sir.
All right, Most High in Christ. Let me see. We might. Just for the sake of the conversation we're having, let's get Deuteronomy 21:18 real quick. By the way, for everybody online, this is Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. We started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, back in 1969. We are now in the Commanding General Yohana. We are not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group. This is Truth 101. Every Monday night, we right here in Duval County, 103rd Library, right here on the conference line. If you want to call in, you're on the YouTube, you got a question, or you want to be on the line, it's 305-985-5453. That's 305-985-5453. All right. You can go and call in, get into class. You down here in Florida, you can come to class on Monday nights. We either at this library or Brentwood. Check with the camp leader over Florida and see what's going on. Somebody got that precept?
Khan, sir.
Let's go.
Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 18. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son,
that's every last one of us,
which will not obey.
No, read it again. If a man what?
Have a stubborn and rebellious son.
That's every last one of us. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, this is what the law say. Keep going.
Which will not obey the voice of his father.
There you go, DeAndre. This is what we talk about. You like, how you know? Go ahead.
Or the voice of his mother.
Or his father or his mother. You don't listen to your mama. You don't listen to your daddy. Go ahead.
And that when they have chastised him, will not hearken unto them.
They done chastised him. They done whooped him. They done punished him. They done took away his PlayStation. They done sent him to his room.
Then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him.
Lay hold on him.
And bring him out of Salakia, and bring him out unto the elders of his city.
There you go. It ain't no elders in this city that can raise up no men except for the men that you see that made an oath that they are going to do what the Lord said to do. Remember when we was talking about earlier how it's supposed to be people in the hood so we can police ourselves? We ain't got that. So now we got to depend on the devil that hates us to police our neighborhoods. But what we're trying to do in the ISUPK is raise up men again so that we can be the ones who stop child molestation, so that we can be the ones who stop crime and drug dealing and prostitution in our neighborhood. The only way we could do that is if we have the might and the power of the Most High to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. But if this man undid it, he's supposed to bring them to the elders. Keep going.
And unto the gate of his place, and they shall say unto the elders of his city, this our son is stubborn.
They're gonna tell the elders that this little nigga is a damn fool. We done tried. Keep going.
Is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton.
He is a what?
A glutton.
Keep going.
And a drunkard.
And he's a drunkard. All he want to do is get high, drink. I smoke. I drink. Keep going.
And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones.
The Lord say, kill that nigga. Man, he is no good, bro. He ain't no good.
He died.
That he died. Thank the Most High for Yahushua, for us having mercy, for us having the opportunity to do it the right way after we done been stubborn and rebellious all our damn lives. All right. So I just wanted to bring that out. Everybody clear on that? It ain't nothing you ain't clear on, right? All right. Most High in Christ. What?
Oh, it was the end of verse 21.
Go ahead.
So shalt thou put evil away from among you.
That's the purpose.
And all Israel shall hear and fear.
That's the purpose right there. You're doing it in front of everybody. Like if now they had this thing where they like, well, if your son or your daughter was gay, would you disown them? If your brother or sister was gay, would you disown them? Listen, let me tell you something. It ain't just about being gay. If my brother is sleeping with another man's wife, that man will eventually kill him, or something gonna happen to him. It ain't about disowning them. It's about disassociating yourself, being separate, being holy. I'm going to separate myself from them. That's still my brother. Change his damn ways and come into the truth, then he's still my brother. Y'all understand what I'm saying, right? The point in this is to put evil away from out of Israel so that we don't fall as a nation by being accepting, because that's my son. I love him. If my son ain't doing right by the Lord, he deserves to be stoned, just like I did when I wasn't doing right by the Lord.
Salakia.
Go ahead.
If I may add on, that's kind of what Herod was saying when Yahushua had to die. It's better for one man to die than the nation perish. That's the spirit that the Most High wants us to embody. Same as him.
We just read it. No, but we just read it. What was the other scripture that we had where it said, Salakia? It was that one that you just read. Put evil away from. It was another one that we just read where it was talking about that. But yeah, it's better that you get rid of the problem as opposed to allowing it to continue on. Exactly. That's why we was talking about we don't want no cowards. We let one coward in. Next thing you know, everybody cowards. Yeah, cowards of 50 and cowards of 1,000. No, we're not doing that. All right. Anybody else got any questions?
Sir.
Go ahead.
If I may go back to Proverbs, I don't want something stuck out to me when we was talking about when the brother on the phone brought out the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, for fools despise wisdom and instruction. But verse 8, it says, my son, hear the instructions of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. what is the law of thy mother? What is that verse speaking about for the law of thy mother?
This is insinuating that your mama and your daddy are doing and teaching you what the Lord said to teach. All right, it's not their own thing. It's not separating. They're both the same thing. And it should all be the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. All right. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Salakia.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second. I got another question in the room. Go ahead.
Hosea 12 and
Nice,
9.
nice and strong, so the people can hear you.
Hosea 12 and 9.
What is it talking about? Or what's the question?
When the Most High said that He is that God from the land of Egypt, is He speaking of which when He brought us out of Egypt? That He was with us on when He brought us out of Egypt?
Go ahead and read up a little bit.
Come on. Hosea chapter 12, verse 6. Therefore, turn thou thy God, keep mercy and judgment, and wait on thy God continually. He is a merchant. The balances of deceit are in his hand. He loveth to oppress. And Ephraim said, Yet I am become rich. I have found me out substance in all my labors. They shall find none iniquity in me that were sin. Verse 9. And I that am the Most High thy power from the land of Egypt will yet make thee to dwell in tabernacles as in the days of the solemn feast.
There you go. Yes, this is talking about when the Lord saved us out of Egypt. It's not saying that it's the God of Egypt. It says, I'm the same one that brought you out of the land of Egypt. He just refined. And the way you know this is because he's saying he's going to make thee to dwell in tabernacles. Remember, the Feast of Tabernacles is a law. They did not keep the laws in Egypt. So this is not talking about the gods of Egypt. All right. Which Gods of Egypt is a great movie, by the way. Sidebar. Anyways, I don't know how they all got white, but that's a whole other story. Anybody else got any questions? Go ahead,
I want to know what the 7 seals of Revelation were. When I was in the world, we talk about all sorts of stuff like they would say that the Antichrist or the false prophet would come on like the 6 seals.
Hey, look, I don't know where you be at, Salakia. I don't know where you be at, but you always have a lot of noise, and I can't really hear you over the noise. I can hear you, but you low. If you could speak into the phone or talk a little bit louder so I can hear you over the background noise you got.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Con.
My bad. I'm getting my parents to right now. I want to know what the 7 seals in Revelations were.
What the 7 seals in Revelations were?
Right, Revelations 5 and 9, when it talks about, the seals that were open in the book. And I know there were 7 seals. When I was in the world, people, Christians would say all sorts of stuff like, on the 6th seal, the Antichrist, would come out or whatnot. And all that.
Doesn't it say in the doesn't it say in Revelations what happens when these seals are unleashed or open? In that what you asking, it'll say, well, 1 seal was open and then this happened. Another seal was open and then this happened. Is that not what it says in there?
What I meant, in Revelations 5 and 9, I can't recall right now what verse that was. It says, my read Revelation 5 and 9, sir?
Go ahead.
Revelation 5 and 9. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For thou wast slain and had redeemed us to the power by by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation.
Okay, your question is, what was the seals? Read it again.
And they sung a new song, saying,
Revelations
Thou
what?
art worthy.
Revelations what?
Revelation chapter 5 verse 9.
Okay.
And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book, and to open the seals thereof. For thou wast slain, and had redeemed us through the power, by thy blood out of every kindred, and tongue, and people, and nation.
Okay. I'm looking for it to see if it's in here somewhere. It should be somewhere right up in here. Oh, verse 6. Start at chapter 6. Chapter 6. 1 second. Somebody give me seal in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Go ahead,
Seal.
I got it. We got it here. 1 second. Seal.
Seal. Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Seals were used for various purposes as a mark of authenticity and authority to letters, royal commands, as a mark of the formal ratification of transaction or covenant, as means of protecting books and other documents so they that would not be tampered with.
You got that, right? You got that, Shakar? All right, so in your own words, what did he just read? What is a seal?
Oh, pretty much it said, something to do with a covenant, if I heard right, sir.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Read it again.
What kind? The one or just the one involving
the one you just read, the first one, how it started out.
Seals. Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Seals were used for various purposes as a mark of authenticity.
As a mark of authenticity. Keep going.
And authority to letters.
To what?
Letters.
Okay.
Royal commands.
Royal commands.
Etc.
Etc. This made the letter, the command, or royal, it made it authentic, meaning it came from the king. Keep going.
As a mark of the formal ratification of a transaction or covenant, as a means of protecting books and other documents so that they would not be tampered with.
If you could think about it, it's like if you had a little, it could either be plastic or clay or glass, right? It's so crazy how carnal, the example I want to use to describe it, I really want to use like a Garcia Vega case or something like that, right? And you put a piece of paper in there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. And you put a piece of paper in there to protect it, and you seal it up so that no air get in there, and it actually protects the paper. Well, they had these seals like that, and if it's coming from the king, he would write a letter, put the seal in there, close it up. Only certain people could open it. Only certain people was able to even handle it because it was a letter from the king. So when he's talking about these seals, these are commands or documents or papers coming from the Lord that's sealed up, and only somebody with the proper amount of authority is able to open this up. And as each one is opened up, then you'll see the command that was given from the Most High or from the Lord come to pass. Now I want you to read chapter 6.
From verse 1, sir?
From verse 1.
Revelation chapter 6 and verse 1. And I saw when the Lamb opened one seals, and I heard, as it were the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw and beheld a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him. And he went forth conquering and to conquer. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And they secured one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see.
You get it, right?
And I beheld.
You get it, right? Once he opened it, something else happened. Now, being that this is the Truth 101 class, do not ask me what these horses mean. You can say that for Thursday night's class, or you can ask me, but you ain't going to get no answer until Sunday or Thursday once I have to go and ask my camp leader. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right, but this is what's happening. These are commands that's coming from the King of Kings, down. And once these seals are open, the commands is read, the angels make sure that it happens. All right.
Oh, God, sir. If I may, sir. So the horses aren't literal, right?
I told you don't ask me that. Huh? You trying to make me look stupid? No, go ahead and ask the question. You can ask the question. You say the horses are not literal.
That's just from my understanding, from what I've been taught, because for Revelations of Vision, I just want to make sure they're not literal, are they?
Khan, they are literal.
Oh, they are literal.
If what you saw, you got to remember, this is a vision. They are literal, but they could be an interpretation or mean something else that's greater. Just like you got the 7 heads, or you got a woman, or you got this or that. Everything is a vision, and John is describing these things as best he can from the vision he's sitting. But from the vision he's sitting, it might be a representation of something else, but it's actual person sitting on a horse. Don't try to get me to break this down out. All right? Yeah, but to answer your question, they are literal. I'm just tripping on it. Don't try to get me to break it down. If I know it, I'll tell you. But I'm just telling you, sometimes in Revelations, even though I might have heard it 2 or 3 times, I always want to refer back to my camp leader. Usually, even though Officer Shawar, he'll know it, but he'll say, let's get it, make sure we got the breakdown correct by going through General Muhammad. So you got me? All right. Anybody else got any questions?
Yes, sir.
Oh, go ahead, Ricardo. 1 second now.
If I may, just layman terms, simple understanding for myself, sir. That is the seal of David. The shield of David would be David's seal. That gives you the authority of King David. Khan, sir.
Yes. And when David signed his name on any legal document to authenticate it, he put down the seal. Just like if you got something with the seal of Florida, it'll have that stamp with the seal of Florida or whatever the case may be. Absolutely. That was him signing his signature, meaning that it came from the king. All right. Bakwash, go ahead.
I wanted to sketch out.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I would like to skip your down
on what? I ask you. Numbers. Numbers. What chapter? What chapter?
Chapter 35.
Numbers chapter 35. And what verse?
31.
It's a Numbers 35? At 31, what don't you understand about it? Oh man, your phone breaking up bad. I can't barely hear what you're saying. What
Can
were
you
you?
hear me now?
Yeah, loud and clear. What you said?
Is that scripture a law that says not to respect, like, moreover, the life of a murderer is which is guilty of death?
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Go to verse 30. No, go to verse 29.
So these things shall be for a statute of judgment unto you throughout your generation and all your dwellings.
All right, stop right there. What is a statute? We say the law, statutes, and commandments. What is a statute? Get it from me in the Bible dictionary.
A law.
A law is a law. A statute is something else.
A commandment.
A commandment is a commandment. A statute is something else. You own it. You own it. They all one. They all go together. But the reason why I'm asking the question like that is because we say keep the law, statutes, and commandments all the time. Is it in there?
Statutes in here.
Statute. You got it in the Strongs or something? Go ahead.
Statute, ordinance, a limit, an enactment, something prescribed.
That's what it say? Is that, did you look that up with the blue letter?
No, sir. I did regular Strong's.
All right, we'll take that. Read it again.
An ordinance, a limit, an enactment, something prescribed.
All right, so this is something that you prescribe. It's just like a law. It's like a commandment, but it's something else that's prescribed, meaning do this, right? So the Lord is telling you to do something. And he said, these things shall be a statute of judgment, meaning this is how you react. This is the judgment that comes for this particular crime. You got it, Bakwash? And this is the judgment for any of these crimes throughout your generations and all your dwellings, meaning it never changes. Go to verse 30.
Verse 30. Whoso killeth any person, the murderer shall be put to death by the mouth of witnesses.
You see that, right?
But one witness.
So what are we talking about? We talking about somebody who killed somebody, right? That murderer should be put to death. With the no snitching rule, a murderer go free and then he just keep killing people over and over again. Keep going.
But one witness shall not testify against any person to cause him to die.
Why? Because that one person could be lying. They could say, you know, such and such killed such and such. And they not know what they talking about. So now if they just gonna go by this one person, then they might kill somebody unjustly. So it says in the mouth of witnesses, usually 2 or more witnesses had to attest that you did this thing before they would put you to death. All right. Now, go to verse 31.
Moreover, you shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death, but he shall be surely put to death.
Okay, so what's the satisfaction it's talking about? One second.
Like belief, like you believe.
If you take satisfaction in something, how can I ask this question the right way? How can something satisfy you?
That means you're content with it.
So like, yes, sir.
If I eat a hamburger and I say I'm satisfied with the way they made this burger, what does that mean? How do I feel about the burger?
Like something like you enjoyed the burger.
I enjoyed it. That's a good word. What this is telling you is don't enjoy taking the life of a murderer. You're doing it because it's a statue and the Lord told you to do it. He guilty of death. It's got to happen. Read verse 32. 1 second.
Verse 32. And you shall take no satisfaction for him that is fled to the city of his refuge, that he shall come again to dwell in the land unto the death of the priest.
And you shouldn't take satisfaction. And what they used to do is, let's say, you know, I was driving a car or something like that. I'm just using this example. And something happened where a brother that's ride with me don't make it. We get in a wreck, he don't make it. I didn't mean to kill him, but I caused his death. What they would do is send you to a city of refuge so that the family members don't kill you because you didn't murder him, but you caused his death. This is what that's talking about. The point is, neither one of them you should take satisfaction in. You doing it because it's a law, statute, and a commandment for you to do it. You ain't doing it for your own personal revenge. Oh, he killed my cousin, so I'm gonna go kill him. They're not doing it for that particular reason. They're doing it because the Lord requires that a murderer be killed, or a witch, or a homosexual, or whatever. You can't go around, you know, killing faggots or whatever, and then you taking satisfaction in being a murderer yourself. You doing going overboard. You're not really doing the law, statutes, and commandment according to the law. You're doing it based on your emotions. There should be no emotion involved. Keep this as a statute through all your dwellings and all your generations, meaning the Lord said do it, so this is what you got to do. All right? Somebody said Salaki. That was in here? Go ahead, Al.
When I read this verse, I also thought about, you know, it says, moreover, ye shall not take no satisfaction of the life of a murderer. We just celebrate Mother's Day. You know what I'm saying? So us as brothers, if we was to, I feel like, you know, if I'm saying this right, if we was to give the woman the satisfaction of being a mother, then we can also be supporting the simple fact that there are other women out here that's being a murderer, even though that their child is no longer here anymore. That still doesn't take the fact away that they are a mother and they done killed off their child. So
that's a little heavy. I understand what you're saying. I don't know that I necessarily have a response to what you're saying. I get what you're saying. It might be a little bit meaty and deep for you saying, okay, let me make sure it's in the spirit. You saying we shouldn't celebrate Mother's Day because even the mothers that killed their child are still mothers, right?
It doesn't take the fact away that they are a mother.
Right.
They just killed it.
Right.
You still a mom because the baby had life inside of you.
Yeah, but it's nothing wrong with celebrating your mama as your mama, or honoring your mother as a mother. The problem is it has nothing to do really with that. It's really all about something else. So yeah, I get what you're saying though, but I don't really know that I have a response for it. All right. Anybody else? Questions? Go ahead.
Real quick, were Israelites the first kings of Europe or no?
Were what?
Were Israelites the first kings in Europe?
Were Israelites the first kings in Europe?
Well, the first rulers.
In Europe? La. Okay. If you want to go back to Ham, Shem, and Japheth, the Lord divided up the whole world to these three people. And they went and they built families and built and became nations. And Israel is the youngest nation on the planet. You got 18 nations on the planet. Israel is one of the youngest nations. Esau is one of the youngest nations, right? So we don't pride ourselves on being the first anything. We came up out of, we went into Egypt as 70 people and came out deep. You understand what I'm saying? So that means it was already people there in Egypt. We didn't have our own land until the Lord moved out them stinking Africans and gave us our land. That's Deuteronomy 7:1. We didn't become a nation until Jacob and Esau were born. There was already things going on, people in different lands. Majority of the Bible takes place right there in that area. It does not talk about Europe or anything like that. We did have a long period of time where we ruled over Europe as kings, but this wasn't. This was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, if you look at 1611, when King James, a black man, was ruling over, you know what I'm saying? That's 1611. That's 1600 years after Christ. The Romans was ruling during the time of Christ. If you go back to the Maccabees, it talks about when the white man started ruling all these lands with Alexander the Greek. But still before that, you had all these different lands that were inhabited by different nations of people, and they fought for them. That's how in the Ruth wasn't a Moabite breakdown, you have where they got the land of Moab. And even though I broke it down in one of the classes, I think it was Shakar asked, even though they called it the land of Moab, an Israelite went through and or another nation went through and killed the Moabites that was in there and took over the land, but it still was the land of Moab. As the day, they are named after the people that the people was named after them, vice versa. Either way, you can't say that the Israelites was the first rulers of these lands, because these lands was here before there was an Israel. You got it?
So, if I could.
Go ahead.
You know, a lot of people would say that the King James 1611 was written by white people because they were ruled. Like, how would you?
Because
a lot of people say that the 1611 was written by white people because it was originated in Europe.
yeah, all you got to do is tell them to look up the Dark Ages. If you know anything about history, you can look up the Dark Ages. They have what's the name of that book? Russian Icons. You have a book called Russian Icons. If you look up the Dark Ages, the Byzantine Empire, you'll find out Constantine was black. You'll find out King James wasn't the only black person. You got Scipius African, not Scipius African. What is this dude's name?
Salakia, sir. Scipio Africanus.
Nah, I'm not talking about him. That was my mistake. But you have all these black kings that's documented. All you gotta do is look up black kings, black rulers of Europe, and you'll come up with all of these pictures. Everybody knows this. Any historian knows this. You ain't gotta be in the truth to know this. Black people ruled over Europe, and even the Moors teach this a lot. Anyway, they just call them Moors. They don't call them Israelites. All right.
Salakia, sir.
Did I answer your question out?
Okay.
Go ahead, Rakon.
I just want to know the name of the book, sir. I mean,
Russian Icons.
Covenant Icons, sir. Wow.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, scripture breakdown of 2 Peter chapter 2.
You said 2 Peter chapter 2?
Got it.
1 Peter or 2 Peter? he say? 2 Peter. What verse?
Chapter 2, 4, 5.
2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4 and 5. Is that what you said? All right. This right here is, when I'll be honest with you, when I first heard the breakdown, I ain't believe it because I was so damn Christian. So Christian. All right. Go ahead and read it. I'll get the brother here. Trooper Yamayan, go ahead and read it.
Con. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4. For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment.
Stop. Now, what do we know about angels? Go ahead.
That they are messengers of the Most High, and they don't have right to go against the Most High.
But Quash, what do you know about angels?
Angels, they were like beings that would get that carry out orders from the Most High.
Okay, do they break those orders?
Nah.
Do they have flesh?
Nah.
Why do human beings sin? Let me give you the answer. Give me love not the world. Somebody give me love not the world. First thing, if you understand anything about angels, angels are messengers. They do what the Most High says. Satan is an angel. People want to make it seem like he's fighting against the Most High. If he could fight against the Most High, then the Most High would not be the Most High power. There's no power, no entity, nothing that could ever come against the Most High power. He created all, and all was created by him. We got that on the angels, right? All right, keep going. Oh yeah,
That's me.
Salakia. Tighten up. Verse 4.
Or read 4 again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, read 4 again.
Come. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4. For if God spared not the angels that sinned.
Well, how does an angel sin? You got it. You got the scripture. Love not the world.
Yes, sir.
Nice and strong.
Con.
1 second.
1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Keep going.
Verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eye, and the pride of life.
This is what go ahead.
It's not of the Father,
this is
of the world.
This is what we talk about when we say a nigga in the world. The difference between a nigga in the world and a nigga in the truth, right? Because all that's in the world is lust, and pride. These are things human beings deal with because of their flesh and because of their own mind. Angels do not deal with this. This is what's going to cause you to sin. This is what causes you to smoke and to sleep with other men, old lady, and to eat pork, shrimp. Oh man, shrimp with butter and all of this other stuff is so delicious. That's your lust. I ain't got to do everything that God said in the Bible. Them laws is done away with. That's your pride. Angels don't deal with that at all. So what is it talking about? Well, in the scriptures, the Bible refers to Israelites as gods. It refers to them as angels. It refers to them as the Son of God and the Son of Man. In this particular scripture, what it's talking about when it's talking about angels, it's talking about Israel. Now, if God didn't spare them when they sinned and cast them into hell, which is what we're going through as Israelites right now, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. Keep going.
Verse 5, and spared not the old world.
What was the old world? The old world was the worlds that have been destroyed. You talking about in the flood? You talking about Sodom and Gomorrah? Oh, it's gonna tell you. Keep reading.
But saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly.
This was the old world. Keep going.
Verse 6, and turned the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after should live ungodly.
He made these angels, which were people, right, into examples for the ungodly. One thing you got to know, that whole thing about Satan fighting against the Most High and all of that was a fairy tale, okay? This is not talking about that. This is speaking about men that sin. What is sin? Trooper Bakwash, what is sin?
Sin is like when we break the law.
Sin is breaking the law. Give me Psalms 147, chapter 19. You got it?
147. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Psalms 147, verse 19. He sheweth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Verse 20. He has not dwelt so with any nations, and as for his judgment, they have not known them.
He ain't even give his law, statutes, and commandments to any other nation on the earth, much less the angels. You don't have to give them no statutes and no judgments because they're not breaking the law. So when it's saying this, you have to look at the context of what it's talking about. It's not talking about the beings that do everything the Lord say. It's talking about us who was supposed to do everything the Lord say, just like the angels, but did our own thing and sin. All right? Did I answer your question? All right, Most High in Christ. Any other questions?
Like it, sir.
Go ahead.
If I may, I just want to know, could I use Deuteronomy 4 and 8 as a precept for Psalms 147, 19 and 20?
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 8, read it.
Sir. And what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I set before you this day?
Con. Good precept. I'm sure it's you got it in your what the little Bible. It showed you the connection. It connected those two. All right, Esau just happened to get that one right. All right. He just happened to got that one right. That's a good precept. Anybody else? Questions? No other questions? All right. Nobody else got no questions.
So I don't want, if I may.
Go ahead.
I want to know where can I find the rest of the Hebrew alphabet?
What you mean?
I was learning. I was watching some films online, trying to learn the Hebrew alphabet, and I got Awad, you know what I'm saying? So far, you know, and I couldn't understand the brother online because of the audio.
Let me see. You can take a picture of this. I think I got one on the phone. I probably can send you. If one of the brothers got it.
I got it.
You got it? Send it to the brother after class. Every Friday night, You got to look it up. It's Lashawan Kodash class, and they teach.
I can't understand when the audio be messed up coming through.
It might not be like that all the time. It could have just been in one class. I know if nothing else, they got older classes that was on there back even when General Q was teaching it a long time ago, back when he was a captain, and some of the brothers that's captains now was troopers in there. They still there. All right, so you can go and watch those. And then the newer classes, most of the time is taught by Officer Marah and sometimes Officer Hazahab. All right, so most of the time it's not messed up. I don't know if you just caught it at a bad night or whatever the case may be, but you should be good to go on that. All right. Anybody else got any other questions? Go ahead.
I have a question on, it seems like a simple verse, but I'm having problems about understanding Colossians 3 and 19.
You say you having
It's
an issue with your understanding on Colossians 3 and 19. Is that what you said?
Yeah, basically the extent of, wanting to, do my part, but not, be foul at the same time, not come off.
All right. Just so you know, I can't make I can't give no orders to no other officers, especially Salakia to the men above me, whatever the case may be. But as a general rule in my class, we will never, ever read Colossians 3 and 19 without reading 3 and 18 first. So go ahead and start there.
Chapter 3, verse 18. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband, as it is fit in the Lord.
Salakia, I got you on the line, right? Let me let the trooper in here read it. Trooper Yama Young, go ahead, read it. Let's make sure it's nice and clear for the YouTube. All right.
Kana Wakan. Colossians chapter 3, verse 18. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as it is fit in the Lord.
As it is what?
Fit in the Lord.
That's what the Lord said to do. All right, now go ahead. I ain't gonna break that down because he didn't ask that. Keep going.
Kana Wakan. Verse 19. Husbands, love your wives.
Stop. Husbands, love your wives. How do you love somebody, Trooper Mashamar?
According to the law.
Do what?
According to the law.
Deal with them according to the law. Do not steal from your wife. I don't know why you should have to. You steal it from your damn self. Treat your wife as she is the weaker vessel, and she is yours, and she is you. Deal with her according to the law. Husbands, love your wives. That's what that means. That don't mean buy them Valentine's Day gifts, Mother's Day gifts. That ain't your proving your love for your wife. It's training her in the guidance and the leadership and dealing with her according to the law, which the law says you are supposed to protect her and you're supposed to guide her and you're supposed to all of the stuff that it says in the law. So husbands, love your wives. Go ahead.
And be not bitter against them.
And be not bitter against them. What does that mean? Does that mean you can't ever get mad at your wife?
That's the part that's the part right there that I was really inquiring about. Because I have a man, I got an age, boy, I got
You got a what?
I got a jungle man, and I be trying not to show you up. I got to do it, but I be needing to get things. I be having problems.
All right, so first things first. First things first. Here at the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, we do not beat our women. Let's get that straight, all right? We do not break no laws, none of Esau's laws. Now, once we got that straight, everything else that is legal is deemed as you see fit because that is your property. If I have a car, ain't nobody gonna tell me if I want to put rims on my car that I can't. Ain't nobody gonna tell me I can't eat food in my car. It's mine. All right. Now, if you talk to one person, somebody might say, you being nice by doing this, that, or the other. Another person may say, that ain't being nice. I do that all the time. It's the same way with anything. Somebody might say you're being bitter towards your wife because you ain't tell her Happy Mother's Day. Right? Somebody else may say you being bitter towards your wife because you ain't give her her way. The main thing you got to do is keep the law, statutes, and commandments with dealing with your wife. Understand that in every single relationship on the planet Earth, y'all, is always going to be times where there are good and there is bad. And you must maintain in an American society your rightful place as the head of your household, and everything that the Lord said to do, you must teach and guide everybody in that household and protect them from their own stupid self, which may seem bitter to your wife, which may seem bitter to your children, who say, well, daddy won't let me go outside, he don't love me. But in reality, he who he loved, he chasing him. You wouldn't get into it with your wife if she does everything you say, right? Okay. So before you can ever get to verse 19, read verse 18 again.
Okay. Colossians chapter 3, verse 18. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband.
If they ever do this, then there's no reason that you should ever be bitter. You understand? If you mad and you bitter, she ain't doing this. Read it again.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands.
She ain't submitting. Keep going.
Calm. As it is fit in the Lord.
As it is fit in the Lord. We in here are fighting and struggling and scratching and clawing to be considered men of the Lord. We doing the work of the Lord. We changing our lives, and that requires us to change everybody in our household. And sometimes to somebody else who don't want to follow the law, who don't want to serve the Lord, it may seem bitter. That's not what this is talking about. You got it? It's relative. When it's talking about being bitter, just make sure you understand that she is you, and she is not you as far as your strength, your endurance, and all of that. She is a weaker vessel. You fighting her demons is not being bitter towards her. You not giving her what they call it, you giving her a hedge of protection from herself, or not, it said to gad abroad or something like that. Allowing her to gad abroad or do whatever she want to do is not you being bitter. All right, that's not what this is talking about. You clear? Yeah, man. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with you making sure that you check a certain situation, because it may save your rib's life. It may save your child's life if you whoop them for running out in that road you told them not to go out of. You got it? You can't whoop your wife though. All right, let's get that. I'm just saying. I know you want to. We don't allow that. Anybody else got any other questions? Go ahead. Go ahead, Trooper Bakwash. Trooper Bakwash, you there? Go ahead,
Jeremiah 16, chapter 16, verse 2. Thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have sons or daughters in this place.
Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 2.
For thus saith the Lord concerning the sons and concerning the daughters.
Salakia, you reading. What are you doing? What are you reading? What you reading for? I didn't get your question, What's the question?
What is this saying that in this place, particular place, that they are not able to take a wife from among for who is the daughters and daughters in this place?
Let me get there with you. Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 1.
Verse 2.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead and read verse 1.
Chapter 16, Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 1. The word of the Lord came also unto me, saying, Thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have sons or daughters in this place. For thus said the Lord concerning.
Go ahead.
But thus said the Lord concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers that bear them, and concerning their fathers that begat them in this land.
Mm-hmm.
But
keep going.
They shall die of grievous death. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as down upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth.
All right. So if you look at any of this, if you go back to verse 15, the Lord is speaking of like a drought and a famine going to happen in this land. And what he was doing was giving Israel a warning not to have kids, not to take wives. But the most important thing was to come back to the Lord so he would clear up that famine and that drought instead of, serving yourselves or trying to build. What you needed to do was get your life together. So this is the Lord foretelling a famine and saying that this is what's going to happen to them kids if you have them in a land right now at this particular time. But that was for that time. All right. All right. Go ahead.
That was in a particular land that was in famine. That was like.
You saying what land was that? I'm unsure, but I know. If you go back to verse. Salakia. I'm not sure what land this was in at this particular time. I would have to read a little bit more, but I know it was making reference to Hezekiah and Jerusalem and all of this other stuff. But I think those was as examples. I would have to look up or actually ask that question: what land were they in when this was happening? All right. All right. Any other questions? All right. Let's see here. Let me get James 1 and 19. Give me James 1 and 1 first, and then James 1 and 19. Go ahead, Yama.
James chapter 1, verse 1. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad.
To who?
To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad.
This is James in the New Testament, and it's talking to who?
The 12 tribes which are scattered abroad.
All right. I ain't talking to everybody. Go down to verse 19.
Come. Verse 19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath.
Stop. Let every man be quick to listen, slow to speak. You ain't always got to get your point across. You ain't always got to say something. Just learn how to listen in this truth. It'll take you a long ways. I had an issue where I always wanted to add on. So like if I could become something that we say a lot, but we hear the general saying that. We hear the general saying that to men under him. We hear men, the camp leader saying that to men that's under them. When you saying that as a man that's up under somebody else, that don't just give you the opportunity to just come in and say something. All right. Be swift to hear. Just listen. Slow to speak. Slow to wrath. One thing about Israel is we expect the Most High to forgive us, but we cannot forgive our brothers. We cannot forgive our sisters. We cannot forgive our wives. We cannot forgive our husbands. We cannot forgive our children. When the Lord is saying that when we get to a point where we're ready for wrath, what does it say about it? Read verse 20.
For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God.
This is how Esau operates. This is how the other nations operate. They animals and they cannot control themselves. All right. And it does not operate in the righteousness of God. Righteousness of God is we're going to do what the Lord said or get his judgment. But he also gave us mercy. And how we got to deal with each other is learn how to give each other mercy, grace, and all of that. At the same time, we got to also be stern and keep each other accountable. So with that, I'm going to turn the pass over to priest and officer in the shop.